Siddharth Zarabi joins us. Siddharth is the editor of Business Today and our top economic pundit. Siddharth, welcome. Good morning. The Prime Minister spoke of Lakshmiji shining on the middle class and on the poor. You've been trying to decode what that could potentially mean. So give our viewers a sense of what to expect.
Well, very clearly, I think we could look at that message from the point of view that the kind of growth that we saw last year, it's fallen off sharply, and the economic survey makes it clear that we are perhaps going to be on the lower side of 6.2 and the range that has been given. Therefore, it is imperative that people go out and spend. And to do that, the middle class, which is one of the largest consumers, needs something in their hand to spend more. Will it be the new tax regime or the old tax regime? That's the toss of the coin. But clearly, we need to get consumption going. Otherwise, this...
But it clearly can't be the old tax regime because the government's very clearly nudging people in the direction of the new tax regime.
So, Rahul, how do you make up for this 175 basis points odd decline in growth that's happened year on year? And the outlook is also a bit delicate. And see what's happening. Literally hours before the budget, President Trump has set the tariff ball in motion. He's indicated at pharma, once the markets open, you will see what will happen to the pharma sector. I believe there's going to be a bit of a hit because he's indicated that he might consider pharma tariffs. So the
no, but the Prime Minister is going to the United States in the second week of February, likely. And before that, if he, no, but if before that he, raises tariffs on Indian pharma companies, that's not good atmospherics before this big Modi-Trump meeting.
That's why a Modi-Trump magic working and a deal happening is the panacea, hopefully. But
Rajiv Mantri, do you think this is just bargaining and negotiating tactics by Trump when he says, I'll impose new tariffs on your pharma companies?
So those who want to understand President Donald Trump's approach should read his book, The Art of the Deal. And he's explained it well,
but
how
he's up against
approaches
Gujarati
deal
and
making.
Deal making is in their DNA. So hopefully we'll have some kind of a deal. Otherwise, the market, Shankar, could react negatively to that.
So the largest expense in the US debt and deficit story is healthcare. And they want to bring that down. Because they can't do anything else to anything else there. So this is what they're doing. I mean, the US government is now spending more on interest costs than its defense budget. So they have
Their
a real
deficit is on the order of, I think, 10%.
Yeah. So now what they want to do is to sort of cut costs in various places. And I think that there is this, Machiavelli's book has this madman theory that the leader should at times try to look like mad.
No, but all the research on Richard Nixon and the madman theory suggests it doesn't really work in the real world.
So it works only in specific instances. From Machiavelli's book, The Prince, you can see this. He specifies
no, but I was
that.
reading an international research paper on the madman theory, and the net argument is it doesn't work in terms of tangible outcomes.
So there are 3 papers on Nixon and even the others who have tried this in other countries. It doesn't, but there's nothing to stop Trump from doing it. See, the base fact is they are $27 trillion, they are a market, they want to leverage that scale to get something out. Now, whether they get it out or not, whether Mr. Modi goes there and sort of convinces him that there are other ideas that they could pursue, all of this is possible. I mean, India's game is the generic market. The second part of it, what is I would worry about, is that 70% of the APIs which are used by Indian farmers are all Chinese import. Suppose Trump imposes an origin of product or components tariff, then the whole pharma world, forget about us, Switzerland, everybody, all the big guys will sort of worry.
See, what else would you expect apart from, say, some moderation on taxation for the middle class? What are the key cues you think viewers should expect?
The biggest thing that this budget should tell us is what is the government's approach, Modi 3.0's approach towards taxing income. 2019 was a big gamble. September 2019, out of budget move where a significant cut on the corporate tax rate was done, hoping that private sector will invest. COVID happened. Now, a couple of years after COVID, 3 years have passed, yet we see private sector investment is not really doing that well. Therefore, I would argue that the government's gamble on corporate, giving away corporate taxes hasn't worked really well. Therefore, that leads the question that the burden of paying tax has shifted to the ordinary individual taxpayer. Can that continue at a time when GST is not yet been rationalized, especially on consumer sensitive items like insurance, for example? You pay a premium every year on a product that you have purchased at one time and you don't know whether you will ever benefit from. It is not just high, I think it is the worst example of services tax being misutilized. That has not been addressed. So what is left to the center? The center should therefore come out and say, in today's day and age, 2025 and to Viksit Bharat in 2047, are we going to keep 3 lakhs as the threshold? Are we saying 15 lakhs for peak rate coming in is the threshold? I think this is the message that is required beyond whatever measures. The new tax regime is fine, but what does it say? It says the government will not put money out of its pocket. It wants you to reduce your exemptions.
I just want to add something on this aspect of private investment not picking up. So we have seen a range of many important reforms being executed already, which are productivity enhancing. And Dr. Arvind Virmani had written an excellent paper where he explained how productivity enhancing reforms actually have this J-curve effect, where that reduces the need for investment because the existing asset base actually, you spread it out. So existing assets actually deliver same results or better results, and thus that reduces the need for further investment. One of the quintessential examples of how this played out is the implementation of GST, which has improved the turnover and utilization of truck fleets. So because the truck fleets are doing more business, once India became an integrated market, the truck providers didn't need to acquire more and more trucks.
You know, in a moment from now, I'll show you the results of the C-voter data, which looks at how citizens and voters assess the state of the economy. You know, the pundits have their own assessment, corporates have their own assessment. What do people out on the streets say? And that is quite interesting to look at. The data is quite interesting because it indicates that there is real concern and worry about inflation, there's concern and worry about income prospects and general economic outlook. So